yet another episode of Icons. My name is Njoki Chege, and today our guest is a very, very accomplished and very interesting lady, Professor Grace Ngare, the chair of the Presbyterian University of East Africa Governing Council. Professor Grace is an associate professor of gender stationed at the Department of Sociology, Gender and Development Studies at the Kenyatta University in Nairobi, Kenya, and currently a research associate at the KU Women's Economic Empowerment Hub, that is KU-WE, leading the policy and advocacy docket. I could go on and on and on, but let me leave it to you, Professor. Karibu sana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jack.
Looking very nice.
Thank you. Wow.
Yes. I hope the cold is not taking you so badly.
Well, not so much. I'm used to this kind of cold, although the cold itself caught me unawares yesterday. Yes. But I'm trying to cope with it anyway. It's normal to have cold during the cold season. Yes. Yeah.
So we are so glad to have you on this show. I've read so much about you. I've admired you from afar. And I've said that today we must have this conversation. And like I told you earlier, this is a conversation, a dialogue between friends. And I think maybe we can start by you introducing yourself and also telling us a bit about your background. Who is Grace?
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity for having me this morning. And indeed, I feel honored and privileged to speak to you. I want to start by saying Grace is a very small young girl, born not very far away from PUEA, actually.
Oh, really?
I come from Kiabu County, Kabete constituency, I think so. Yeah, it was Lower Kabete. Yes. Currently it's Kabete. Yes. I'm not so far away from here. Yeah. Actually, I was baptized at the Church of Torch, Dogoto, and that is when it was Dogoto itself. When you heard that you're going to be baptized at Dogoto, it was a privilege. I am a born-again Christian, but I started at the Presbyterian Church way back in Kahuho. Yes. Kahuho is about maybe 15 kilometers from Dogoto. Okay. That's the surrounding that I grew up. I was raised up by a single mom who was a widow. We were a family of 6, and I am the second last. And how do I talk about my journey? It's long. It's a long journey.
Yeah. What you can, just briefly.
Okay, I started school there and went on. I was so much inspired and decided to go on and on. I went to the university.
Where did you study? Tell me a little about the little Grace in primary
the young Grace.
Yeah, the little girl Grace.
You take me so far back. Yes. The young Grace was a very cheeky, very musical girl. Always jumping up and down. Yes. Grew up between 2 boys who were very, very harsh to me. Yes. And they would beat me every now and then because I was cheeky anyway.
They were hardening you for the world.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. I didn't like it then, but now I know what they were doing for me. And after my primary school, I would also say here that I was a very bright girl. And I would boast of that because there is no one time I became number 3 in class. Okay. It was either 1 or 2 throughout high school, primary, high school.
Where did you go to primary school, Grace?
I went to Kahuho Primary School. Then it is now currently Kamojoni Primary School. And I said it's not so far away from Kahuho itself. Yes. I was there for 7 years and I excelled very well. I didn't repeat any class and that's something that made me so proud. Yes. And then from there, I went to high school in Kirinyaga. That's Giriabu Girls High School in Geshogo. Yes. Then from Geshogo, I felt like I was so far. I used to cross so many rivers, which used to scare me so much. Yes. Because you start at Loiro and you go there. Even the flooding river, you still have to cross it before you reach Giriambu. Then I decided, no, this is too far for me. So I came to the Miririke Girls. Okay. For my A-levels. Okay. And then from there I joined Kenyatta University. It was then Kenyatta University College. I did a program, Bachelor's of Arts in Education. Yes. Bachelor of Education Arts. Yes. Specializing in religion and geography literature. Okay. Yes, do you want to hear more about that?
I want to get to know, when you're still young, let me just
Still taking me back
let me
to
still
childhood.
take you back because, you know, those are the foundational years. Who are some of your greatest influences?
Honestly, my first influencer was my mother. I told you my mother was a single woman, and she was not very well off. She was struggling so much to raise us, 6 of us. And I think she saw something in me because she used to really encourage me. And she used to tell me quite often, you must study hard to escape from the village. I don't know why she didn't like the village and she lived there.
Yes.
But I think she knew that the village is not a place for somebody who wants to really aspire. By that time, the village was associated with a lot of poverty anyway. You know, very little food in the household, no good clothing, nothing much to, you know, to take to the bank. There wasn't much. And she was struggling, and we were struggling. So she really, really pushed me through school, and she encouraged me a lot, such that I would give you an example of her form of encouragement.
Yes.
I told you I used to be very bright in school.
Yes.
So I would come home and tell her I am so happy I got maybe 80 marks.
Yes.
And I am the best. And maybe the person who is following me had 70.
Yes.
And she would ask me, number 2 had how much?
Yes.
Or how many? And I would say,
marks?
how many marks? And I would
Yes.
say 70. And you had 80. Yeah, out of how many? And I would say, of course, it's out of 100. And she would say, how stupid are you?
Wow.
You mean you lost a whole 20 marks? It's because the class you are in has very foolish people, you included.
Wow.
You see, the teachers are clapping for you and telling you, keep up, work harder, you are great and all this. My mom tells me this is very stupid of you.
Yes.
You lost 10 marks. So you see, her A was not an A of 80.
Yes.
Her A, because 80 is a straight A,
Yes.
her A was 100%.
And she set the bar very high for you.
Exactly. Very, extremely high. And then I was in the same class with my brother. And my brother would get 70. And my mom was so proud of him. And I was like, what's wrong with this woman? This one gets 70, this one's get 80.
Yes.
And she's ever not letting me even be happy.
Yes.
And she would tell my brother, look here, if your sister worked harder, she would be better than you. Because, you know, she never saw me better than my brother.
Yes.
She would always say that my brother is working very hard,
Yes.
but I'm not working harder. That equation was very strange to me when I was young.
Yeah.
But I later on realized what she meant by all that. I actually worked very hard in school
Yes.
to please my mother.
Yeah.
And then she made another great thing for me.
Yes.
She shelved me from boys.
Yes. She shielded you.
Shielded me from the boys because the boys saw this young girl. And of course, you know, boys of that age, especially when I was becoming a young teenager, you are feeling beautiful, you are feeling big, and you are not even understanding why all these things are happening to you.
Yes.
And the boys would hoover around our home in the pretext of visiting my brother.
Yes, and borrowing books.
Borrowing anything, borrowing everything actually.
Everything.
But my mother knew that these boys have nothing to do with books.
Yes.
They have nothing to do with visiting. So she would literally beat them and chase them away and tell me, no, 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 this is not the place for you to get married.
Yes.
And I was like, marrying at class 6.
Yes.
And she would say, no, 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 I don't know. And so when I look back, I realized this was the greatest woman that, you know, that raised me up. So she's my number one mentor. May God rest her soul in peace. She passed on in 2010. And my other great mentor was my grandfather.
Okay. Your paternal or maternal grandfather?
Paternal. Paternal is my father's father?
Yes.
Yes, my paternal grandfather, who also used to tell everybody that this is my son. She never saw a daughter in me.
Yes.
She saw a son.
Yes.
And because I was named after his mother,
Yes.
he used to call me Maito.
Yes.
And he would always tell me, I know you are going far, Where we came from, it's a flight path.
Yes.
And I would always see the planes flying high up. And we were grazing with him in the fields, in the paddocks.
Yes.
And I would
Just you and your grandfather?
Me and my grandfather. I was the only kid who was allowed to go near him.
Wow.
All the other kids had to keep off. He used to say they have, what do you call it, makamasi?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah,
and they were dirty, they were smelling urine.
Yes.
But for me, he tolerated me, and he said, I am his mother. I had to come near. So when we were grazing in the fields, I would see the planes, and I would ask him, Wuka, where do these planes go? And he would tell me, he doesn't know, but they go far. And then I told him one day I will be in them, and I'll go far, and I'll find out where they go and where they come from.
Wow.
Yeah, so those were my mentors.
Yeah, and at that really tender age, it was very clear for you that there was something inside you. You know, your mom setting the bar very high, your grandfather giving you that special treatment. You didn't want to disappoint them.
No.
You didn't. You worked hard in school because you wanted to be that girl.
Exactly. I didn't understand it then. Let me be very honest with you. I didn't understand what I was doing. But I understood that there were two people whom I had to show my report card.
Yes.
One was very excited. He was not very literate anyway. My grandfather wasn't at all. Yes. So for him, if I told him I'm number one, it didn't matter to him how many marks there were.
Yes.
But my mother was not illiterate.
Yes.
My mom had gone to school. She had gone to college, by the way. It is just unfortunate that when she went to Wedogori College, then, this is during the Mau Mau.
Yes.
The college was burnt, and she had to come back home, and unfortunately got married thereafter out of frustrations. Yeah. So she had gone to school. She used to speak English.
She would have gone far.
She would have gone very far. So she used to know. And sometimes I thought, she's pushing me to accomplish what she missed.
She was living vicariously through you.
Could be.
In a way, yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
Okay, so you go into KU, you do your degree, obviously you excel. At what point do you decide that you're now getting into academia? Walk us through your
when
journey.
I did my first degree, it's still not me who decided. Okay. My professors decided.
How is that? Tell me about that.
I excelled again, and I got a prize for best performing in the department I was in. That's the Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies. Yes. When I got that prize, I think my professor saw this girl needs to come back to school. Yes. Actually, they wrote to me. One of them wrote to me where I was teaching. You see, I was a trained teacher. So I had already been dispersed by the TSC to go and teach, and I was teaching somewhere in Embu, a very remote part of Kenya, by the way. Yeah. So I saw a letter one morning, and this letter was from my professor. Yes. And he told, oh, dear Grace, blah, 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 there is a scholarship for you. If you are interested, please come back. We are going to offer it. We want you to come back for masters. Wow. At that time, I didn't understand really why masters. Yes. Although when I was graduating in the University of Nairobi, and that was the last class of us that graduated from Kenyatta University College in the University of Nairobi.
Because at that point it was a branch
Constituent College of the UN. Okay. My certificate reads University of Nairobi. Yes. I saw a young girl looking like you, honestly. She went in front, and she was being conferred with a PhD degree. Wow. And that's the first time, because us, we had not seen any graduation. Yes. Because there was no graduation at KUC. Yes. So this was my first graduation. Yes. And I saw this young girl go in front. Her name was called. She went to the president. She shook his hands. Wow. And she knelt down, and that hat, the PhD hat, was put on her head. And I asked my colleague, that one has what? Because you see, for us, it was just reading names. Yes. It was like, did we come here for this? Yes. Yeah? But this girl's name was read. All the names, And 2 people held her hands. These were her professors.
professors.
I didn't understand then.
Why is she getting all this special treatment?
I didn't, yeah, what
Yes.
so, and she shook the president's hand.
Yes,
And my colleague did not care much about it, but me, I did.
yes.
And I told her, I think I want to understand that. I'll one day go to the president.
Wow.
But I didn't know how
Yes,
or which path will take me there.
yeah.
But I knew that I would get there.
One day.
One day, I don't know how. So we went home, we were just so naive,
Yes.
and it is over. I have a job, you see, I already had a
In
job.
Embu.
In Embu, went back to teach, but after 1 year, somebody came for me. Somebody fished me out of that.
You got the letter that sort of changed the trajectory of your life,
yes.
so to speak.
Oh, yes. And
Okay.
I came back.
You came back. So you leave your job. At this point, do you have a family or you're still a single Grace?
I had a child.
Okay.
Imagine after all the protection
So
and
much
the
for protection.
sheltering. When I went to the university,
Yes.
it was over.
Yes.
It
You're on
was
your own
over.
now.
It's freedom.
Yes.
This is now freedom.
Yes.
You are free to be and free to do all that appertains to you
True.
being in the university.
Woman, yeah.
So when I was graduating, I don't know whether, I don't want to use the word unfortunate.
Yes.
No, it's fortunately.
Fortunately.
I was heavy. I had my baby girl,
Yes.
whom I got just a few months before my graduation.
Okay.
So even when I went back to Embu,
Yes.
I had a child I was raising.
Wow.
And unfortunately, now that's the unfortunate. I was single.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So you see now it was
rough.
like, what's all this?
Yeah.
I found myself single.
Yes.
I just found myself
Yourself
single,
single.
pregnant, single, and all this. And
Yes.
it was so hard for my parents, my mom, to understand all this. I tried to reason out with her, but she couldn't even see the sense. And she also thought this is the end of my,
Your life. As
yeah.
it were.
And you see, she was living my life through hers,
I know.
or her life through me.
She was living through you, so she's
Yeah,
like, now this is
so
not...
she was so disappointed, extremely frustrated, disappointed. But I also thought, no, I have to redeem this. So my going for higher education
Yes.
was also somehow to redeem now myself. I had become conscious. Now I was not doing for anyone.
Yes.
I now had to do it for myself and for my young daughter.
Wow. So you go back to KU
Yes.
for your master's. You have a master's you're pursuing. You have a little girl. That
My
you're-
mom stayed with my daughter
Okay.
for 1 year
That is
until
amazing.
I finished the degree,
Yes.
and I took her.
Okay. So this is when your academic career begins.
Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through it until the point you decide, or until the point you arrive at your niche. That is, I don't want to get this wrong. And you know, this is, what's your niche? Gender. You're a renowned gender scholar offering gender strategic advice in food production systems. So walk me through that journey, because I've read your profile and I could tell there was a point you shifted from the Department of Philosophy and all that. So I just walk me through that journey until the point things shift. And now we have
Okay,
Professor
what I
Grace.
did, I was teaching religion
Yes.
because I did my master's degree in religion, African belief systems.
Okay.
Actually, not Christianity. I know
Yes.
very little about the Bible, except when I read it in church
Okay.
and for my own.
Yes.
However, after several years,
Yes.
in 2006, the president called upon gender, the universities to start thinking about gender. Gender was now coming up.
Yes.
And we are the first university actually to have a department of gender studies
Yes.
and to teach gender studies at undergraduate level.
Okay.
So we were invoked or provoked
Yes.
by the then Vice Chancellor, Professor Olive Mogenda,
Yes.
and myself and a few other ladies were called together and were told the president wants us to start the Department of Gender Studies.
Okay.
So whoever is interested or whoever can manage, come. And why was I part of it is because my PhD degree
Yes.
was so much on women's studies, and I was looking at the roots of subordination for Gikuyu women
Yes.
within Kiambu district, then now county.
Yes.
And my inquiry was on why are women, even if women go very high,
Yes.
irrespective of what they achieve,
Yes.
they are still subordinate to men.
To men.
So that was the answer I was trying to find through my PhD.
Yes.
So you see, even if I am in religion,
Yes.
I'm still doing a bit of
Gender. Yes.
And in that I was inquiring about the role of religion,
Yes.
Gikuyu religion, Christianity, Islam, and all this. What praise do they pray to keep the woman down?
Yes.
So it was so easy for me now to move to.
The transition was natural.
It was so natural. Actually, I was not fitting in religion, let me tell you. I was questioning everything about religion. I was questioning Christianity.
Yes.
Because Christianity somehow, the gospel and the teachings dehumanizes women.
Yes.
Yeah, keeping women where they belong or where they think they belong. So I was not for it. And you see, now I am boiling inside.
Yes.
Where do I go? This is the place I am in.
Yes.
So when this opportunity came,
Yes.
I was among the first to rush
Yes.
and started the department.
Department.
I was the second head of the department.
Okay.
And that is where my path about gender inquiry started.
Yes.
Yeah. It took me, I've done a lot of gender works, you
Yes.
know. And you see, good thing with gender, it cuts across so many disciplines.
Yes.
And now my niche went to gender and agriculture.
Yes.
Why gender and agriculture? Because we are starting, we become, you know, it's a livelihood.
Yes.
And unless the table is full,
Yes.
nothing else matters.
True.
So that is one thing I had started thinking about, food security,
Yes.
food nutrition, and all
Yes.
this. And who are the producers of food in Africa? Again, it is women.
It's women.
What are the power dynamics in food production? This is what I have been teaching and studying on. What are the power dynamics within the family? Because food production in Africa is mostly done at the family level.
Yes.
And this family is a composition of men and women, different ages, different categories, where so many power dynamics are at interplay.
Yes.
So I had also to start doing that, trying to understand what's the place of women, what are women crops, what do women grow,
Yes.
what do men grow,
Yes.
how do women go about it. That is exactly where I am. And that's what took me to all the inquiries that you have seen in my
Yes.
profile.
And you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of research. We cannot get into, yeah, you are a serious scholar when I grow up.
When you grow up,
When
you
I
want to be a serious scholar.
I know where to come. But let's talk, when you were doing our makeup, you remember the conversation we had about that woman with a child on her back, tilling the land under the scorching sun. And you said something that has stuck with me. That woman cannot feed Africa. So what's the solution?
You know, the definition of a farmer in Africa
Yes.
is actually that woman. When you talk of farmer, even now when you go and ask many people,
Yes.
who is a farmer?
Yes.
If you go to the villages, even the villages surrounding PUEA,
Yes.
talk to anybody at Radom,
Yeah.
who is a farmer? The name or the definition that comes to them,
Yes.
you must have a hoe or a djembe.
Yes.
You must have a panga.
Yes.
In fact, they won't talk about a wheelbarrow
Yes.
or a chaff cutter.
Yes.
That's machinery now.
Yeah, that's technology.
That's technology. If you have a hoe, a chaff cutter, now you start moving from the ordinary farmer, it's gone to another
It's a
level.
high-class farmer.
High-class farming. So that ordinary farmer in Africa, the whole of Africa,
Yes.
is a woman
Yes.
who is stealing the land from morning to evening.
No lunch for her.
No lunch, no rest, no break, no off,
Yes.
no nothing.
Yes.
And she's doing a lot of so many other things, gender roles in the household. And when she goes to the farm, sorry, I've used the wrong word. She doesn't have a farm.
Yes.
When she goes to her garden,
Yes.
she has to go home with firewood.
Yes.
She has to go home with water. She has to go home with napier grass for the cows.
Yes.
And she also has a baby.
And the farm is not hers.
It's not even hers. She may have access. If the farm is her husband's, she has access.
Yeah.
But also very limited access.
But no sense of ownership,
No,
per se.
no. It's called control.
Yes.
She does not have control of that land. She only have access. So now, that is the farmer expected to feed the rising populations of this nation and also the whole of the continent of Africa, which is not practical. No wonder Africa is poor and you remain poor and remain hungry.
Yes.
You see, like now with all these floods, who are the most vulnerable? We are told, oh, the land is gone, all the food is gone.
Yes.
In the next few months,
Yes.
what do you expect? The same farmer.
Yes.
So if you are a scholar, you have to start thinking. When you go to developed countries, and I have traveled to so many other countries.
Germany, you're telling me about Germany.
Yeah, I have gone to Germany, I've been to Canada, I've been to the US, several countries, and checked what is farming. The farmer, for example, in Canada, is somebody with 50 acres of land,
Yes.
highly mechanized, subsidized by the government, a farmer who knows where to sell their milk.
Yeah.
They are not waiting for whoever passes by.
Access to market.
Access to markets, access to production systems. The farmer is the richest person in some
Yeah.
of these countries
Yes.
to have a farm. And they don't subdivide their land.
Yes, like we do here, 50 by 100.
No.
Yes.
They don't even own it, by the way.
Yes, it's public land.
Yeah, this is public land. It's
Yeah.
you're only there as a reason. You lease it and then you farm it. And so the production systems are very, very high.
Yes.
You cannot have one cow and call yourself a farmer.
Yes.
Look at here, one cow which is producing 2 bottles of milk per day. Yeah, that's a farmer. So you see there is a very big trajectory in the difference. There is a big difference and all that.
Yes.
So you have, Africa must start thinking, how do we transform this farmer
Yes.
to somebody now where food production systems may have to change?
True.
And this is my gospel up to now, that we have to think differently. As individuals, as institutions, as a country, as even a continent.
Yes.
How do we produce food using the little resources that we have? And the resources are in terms of, machines,
Yes.
resources in terms of money, in terms of land, even time.
Yeah.
How do we change that? How do we convert this?
And we'll talk about that
Yeah.
after the break.
Thank you.
I want you to take some coffee. Tea.
Great.
Yeah? Then we'll come back shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
iguru rihinguke iguru rigirohingukira umuthi maundu maria mothe mahingikite mangirohinguka in the mighty name of Jesus. Nĩ tondũ wa ũmũndũ tũkoraga nĩ twaga kũhingia na koguo tũgakora maũndũ maitũ nĩ mastagnate. Jehova Ngai, we uproot kĩrĩa gĩothe ũtahandĩte. Kĩrĩkanĩro kĩrauga thĩinĩ wa Mathayo 15 atĩ kĩrĩa gĩothe ũtahandĩte nĩ gĩkamunyũrwo.
Welcome back from that short but very interesting break. I think we said we'll have coffee, but we didn't find any, but we got some water, which is actually also okay. So I think right now, Prof, what you can talk about is your current role as the chair of the PUEA Governing Council. Tell us how you got to, basically govern and lead PUEA, and what your main responsibilities and roles are and how you approach them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
In fact, I don't know how I got to PUEA.
Okay.
I just found myself there
Yes.
because it started by the moderator of the 23rd General Assembly.
Yes.
He's the one who fished me out
Okay.
of wherever I was.
That is Right Reverend Tegu Mutahi,
Yeah.
moderator. Yes.
Whereas I had interacted with him sometimes a while,
Yes.
quite a while, when I was serving in one of the churches
Yes.
where he was a minister.
Okay.
But that was a while back.
Yes.
And then we parted ways
Yes.
because I was just within the congregation and
Yes.
all that.
Yes.
And the last I heard of him was he was Deputy Secretary General. And I didn't bother much.
Yes.
And then suddenly I received a call from him.
Yes.
And he tells me about PUEA. And you won't believe it, I didn't know where PUEA was.
Wow.
I only had known up to Togoto
Yes.
and the Kikuyu, the hospital,
Yes.
but not PUEA.
Yes.
I had no interest.
Okay.
I used to hear of it, but I didn't
There was
care.
a university somewhere in Kikuyu.
Yes, because I could hear some of my colleagues mentioning about it. Some used to part-time here.
Yes.
But it was not part of my trajectory. It was not part of my line of the... No, not at all.
Yes.
So when he requested me to come to to join the board,
Yes.
well, first I could not say no to him.
Yes.
But I also felt very cherished. And what was bothering me so much was the kind of work that he was calling me to do.
Yes.
And also the kind of work that I'm doing, because I'm extremely, extremely busy.
Yes, clearly.
So I negotiated with him a bit, and then he told me, no, remember one day I said in your church, God does not call the equipped.
Yeah.
God does not call idlers.
Yes.
God calls the busy people,
Yes.
but he gives them time to perform.
True.
And he equips them. And he just told me, there and then,
Yes.
let me pray for you.
Wow. He likes to say that.
Yeah.
He likes to pray for us.
And he has prayed for me several times when I faced very many challenges.
Yes.
Actually, he just tells me, asks me, where are you? I'm in my office. Kneel down, I'll pray for you.
Wow.
And that has encouraged me so much. So after a lengthy conversation, he told me, and I would speak to your husband because he has to release you he has to give us you.
Yeah,
So,
the blessing and the
oh,
support.
yes. I told him, well, you don't have to do that. I'll do it myself.
Yes.
So I went home. I was at the campus, and I went home and I told my husband, so-and-so called me. This is what is happening. And he asked me, did you say yes? I told him, yes, I said yes. And then why are you telling me? I told him, no, I'm not asking for permission. I'm just informing you.
Point of information.
Yes,
Yes.
that I have to do it.
Yes.
And that the journey now started, and the formal processes went on until finally. And he also appointed, so the other members of the board were appointed. So we had to start by running each other. And I have a very good board, by the way.
Yes.
Running each other, what is it? And then there we were. We found ourselves here.
Yes. With you as the chair.
And me and the chair. For
Yes.
the first meeting, actually the second meeting, I was appointed as the chair. And again, oh my God, that now was the challenge.
Yes.
Joining the board was not the problem.
Yes.
But when he when I was appointed as the chair,
Yes.
it was like, oh no, I looked at all these people. I've never chaired a council.
Yes.
In my university, the council is a body that everybody dreads.
And fears, literally.
Fears. When there is a council meeting, there is a board even at the parking.
Yes,
Council
some
meeting
meeting.
in progress.
Yes.
Keep off.
Keep off.
So for me, the council was
Yes,
that.
yes.
And the decisions of the council. I used to know once the council has decided, things will not go the way we think.
Yes.
The appointment, especially the senior appointments, which I have had, were from the council. Not that we have seen the council.
Yes.
For us, we see the council chair only during graduation or when you are going for an interview.
Yes.
So
For
this
those top positions.
very top positions is the chair of the council who chairs them.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, but then I had to demystify it anyway, which I have tried to do. So we started the work. It has been, well, what do I say? It's challenging. It's a very challenging position.
What is your job? What are your
What do I do?
responsibilities?
The very first thing I do is to hold council meetings, to chair the meetings. And that's the major one.
Yes.
And from there, of course, you are chairing meetings because there are decisions to be made.
Yes.
Issues, matters of, to do with the university, mostly personnel, who is supposed to be where,
Yes.
what programs are going to be offered, how is the university, it's actually running the university in
At the strategic level.
At a very strategic level,
Okay.
not the day-to-day,
Yes.
finding out who is going to class and
Yeah.
who is not going, who is setting exams.
Yes.
You have to give a strategy at the university. You are actually the brain behind where is the university going,
Yes.
where is the university not going.
Where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Or 10
Exactly.
years? Yeah.
Exactly. Where are we?
Yeah.
Where are we and where are we going? What are the challenges?
Yes.
And the challenges are not the day-to-day challenges.
Yes.
It's the challenges. For example, I can give you a critical challenge that we are facing. For the last few years, we have had the government suppliers with students.
Students, yes.
And you see the system of education changed because the parallel degree programs were wiped out by the government system.
Yes.
And the private universities used to rely so much on the parallel programs because we would always absorb what remains.
Yes.
Currently, the government absorbs all students
Wow.
who qualifies to join the university.
Yes.
Because there are not as many.
Yes.
There is space in all our universities
Yeah.
to take this, absorb these students. So where does that leave the private institutions?
Yeah. In a very
It is very precarious because you have to think, what do we do? How do we remain afloat?
Yes.
That's one problem. The other problem is the funding system.
Yes.
Again, you can see the country, people are crying, people don't have money.
Yes.
And students or parents would choose where they get the support from the government in terms of help,
Yes.
which is not so automatic when you come to the private universities.
It's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
Yes.
So you see that again is a big major challenge.
Yes.
And I think right now that's my headache.
Yes.
My current headache,
Funding.
funding and sustaining this university, making it remain afloat.
That is what keeps you up.
Yes, yes, and it's not easy. I actually pray for it.
Yes.
Sometimes I wake up at night and start wondering, oh my God, what do we do?
Yes.
What do we do? Where do we go? And all this. But then there is the consolation that you are not the only one.
Yes.
This is not the only private university. Again, this is a Christian university.
Yes.
There are some things you cannot do, even when others will do them.
Yes.
You have to always remember, oh, mine is not like this.
There's some values that are grounding
yes,
you.
Yes. You, for example, you can't get students through any corrupt means.
Yes.
You have to be very straightforward.
Yes.
You can't cheat parents. So I'm not saying that some universities do.
Yeah, but I
really don't
understand
know.
you need to be on the straight and narrow.
Exactly. And again, you also can't take any student for that matter. There are some boundaries
Yes.
that are set in this kind of a university whereby no matter how desperate maybe we may be for students,
Yes.
we cannot just accept anyone.
Yes. Yeah.
So you see all that, and it's on your shoulders. It's on your arms. You have to also balance between three serious bodies. There is the management. This is the one that is led by the Vice Chancellor.
Yes.
Then there is the council itself.
Yes.
How do you continue maintaining these people, raising their morale even when things are so bad?
Yes.
You have to motivate them. And then there is the board of trustees.
Yes.
There is an expectation of me from the church.
Yes.
Yeah, I have
We-
to deliver.
We are looking. We have a lot of expectations.
You have expectations
Yes.
on me, and
Yeah.
and also the public.
Yes.
My stakeholders
Yes.
are the Kenyan clients who are looking at PUEA.
Yes.
The students, the parents, and the churches.
Yes.
The churches, because this is their institution
You have so many stakeholders.
with different interests.
I know.
Yeah, with different interests, different expectations, and all that, and they are all looking at you.
Yes.
If this university sinks, you realize you may sink with it. If it rises, then you have to rise with it. And of course, I wouldn't stand a sinking.
Yes.
I told you I've never sunk.
Yes, you've
So
never failed.
I've never failed.
You're not
So
quite now.
that is a challenge
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
I have never failed, and I am not here to fail.
Yeah.
And if I failed, I think it would devastate me so badly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many parents and students watching you right now, potential students.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, intake, this is intake season,
Yeah.
basically. New semester coming up in June. June is a really, really busy season for students. So if you are asked, why PUEA? Of all the private universities in this country, public as well, even colleges, why should they come to PUEA?
There are so many reasons why I would tell everyone to come to PUEA.
Yeah.
I personally serve in a very big institution, and I love my university, KU.
Yes.
It offers very great programs.
Yes.
But there is one thing we don't do in KU. We
Yes.
are a public university. Not that we don't uphold moral values, we do,
Yes.
but we are not very cutthroat on it.
Yes.
So I know right now there are so many parents who would want to have not just a degree, their children not to have just a degree.
Yes.
No. For me, it is not just a degree.
Yes, a degree is not enough.
No. We have, every university is offering degrees.
Yes.
Even PUEA's degrees are not unique. A Bachelor of Education at PUEA
Yes.
and a Bachelor of Education in another university are the same.
True.
The curriculum is the same.
True.
The teachers are the same.
Yes.
But what is it that you get at PUEA that you may not get in any other institution?
Yes.
It is that Christian outlook.
Yes.
And we are not fanatical.
Yes.
If you come here during graduation, you find a lot of Muslims graduating from this institution.
Yes, there's that level of tolerance.
Yes. We are not trying to convert anyone.
Yes.
Catholics, Muslims, anybody.
Presbyterian.
SDAs
Yes.
are also very many here.
Yes.
But there is that outlook, that makeup,
Yes.
that you make up your child,
Yes.
that when the child leaves this institution,
Yes.
we are guaranteed,
Yes.
or would want to guarantee a parent, that that child will leave with an academic paper
Yes.
and another paper
Yes.
invisible, but visible to the employer,
Yes.
that if those two kids came to me as an employer, I would want to pick the one with these moral values.
Yes.
Yeah, this other one, molded in a way. There are so many vices currently happening in our institutions.
Yeah.
I have seen so many graduates, honestly, in my 34th teaching career in the university.
Yes, going to 4 decades.
Yes.
Yes.
So many graduates who graduate with a first-class honors, but they are wrecked by alcohol.
Drugs, because it's
Drugs, alcoholism, name it. The vices are so many. Corruption. What about if we had students who would still get a first-class honors,
yes.
but also have that other value,
Yes.
that you are not an alcoholic, you are not this, you are not a drug addict, you are not all those others. You can uphold yourself actually in a working environment
Yes.
which makes you different.
Yes.
And this is what we are trying to aspire in PUEA.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what makes us very unique.
A values-based student.
Exactly.
A student with,
And the Presbyterian Church, for that matter, because
Yes.
this is a Presbyterian institution, is known by the government
yes.
that there is a structure.
Yes.
That structure is the structure we are trying to put in our children.
Yes.
Yeah, discipline.
Yes.
I was telling some people, we went to the General Assembly the other day,
Yes.
and I was trying to explain to some people outside, and said, in the Presbyterian Church, you cannot stand and another stand and both of you are standing.
True.
Never. If you find me standing up,
Yes.
you have to sit down.
Yes.
Who will tell you that? You see what is happening even among our politicians, where they take seats and start fighting.
Yes. Yes.
They throwing a chair to another in public.
Yes.
In the Presbyterian environment, no matter how much I'm mad with you, and we
Yes.
get mad with each other,
Yes, we do.
there are some things that we simply cannot do to each other.
Yes.
The degree of tolerance and the discipline
Yes.
and the structure,
Yes.
that is what we are offering at PUEA, different from any other person.
Yeah, you can't get that anywhere else.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So students that have a difference,
Yes.
cultured, disciplined, respectful, with moral.
Structured.
Yes, structured. Structure is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, there is the respect of authority. We want to have students, despite their age, they graduate below 24.
Yes.
And that's the most critical age where they don't realize authority.
Yes.
We are molding students to respect and recognize authority. Whether authority is very negative,
Yes.
because sometimes it is, but it is authority.
Yes.
You recognize it,
Yeah.
and then you can address it.
Yes.
Yeah, you can address it without confrontation. You can ask questions without confrontations. You can say no. You can say no to authority,
Yes.
but say it in a civilized way, not taking a seat and throwing to another.
Yes.
No, that is not. Yeah.
Okay. The year is 2030. 7 years from now.
Vision 2030.
Where do you see PUEA? You've been here, you've done your time, you know, you've been successful. Where do you see PUEA?
First of all, let
10
me
years
say
from
where
now.
I am. I'm
Yes.
trying to install structures in PUEA, governance structures
Yes.
that will last PUEA beyond 2030.
Excellent.
I know I'll not be here forever, and no one will be here forever.
True.
Systems come and go. I think you have heard about, when people talk about universities, for example, in England, the university that people talk about is Cambridge,
Yes.
Oxford.
Yes, yeah. Oxbridge.
And
Oxford
there are so many
Cambridge.
others.
Yes.
There are so many others. Why do they talk about Cambridge? When you go to America, everybody is talking about Harvard, Stanford, this. Why are they talking about those universities?
Even down in South Africa, we have UCT and WITS and so many other
University of
universities.
Cape Town.
Yeah. I mean, awesome university.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then the question is, why do they talk about that?
Yeah.
What is it that it's in it? It's the tradition.
Yes.
I want to see PUEA beyond Vision 2030
Yes.
in a tradition that everybody, when you hear PUEA, oh yeah, just that.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They know.
They know that is
It
the,
signals
the
something.
Presbyterian University.
Yes.
When you see our bus on the road, you say, wow, that's the Presbyterian University.
Yes.
Look at the school neighboring us here,
Yes.
the alliances.
Yes.
100 years plus.
Yes. 100.
Yeah, the term alliance,
Yes.
the name alliance,
Yes.
you know, communicates. You don't need to ask, where is alliance?
Yes.
What is done in alliance?
Yes.
What is there in alliance? The simple. That's where we want to be.
So you're setting up PUEA
Structures.
for the next 100 years,
Beyond.
beyond 100 years.
Yes.
Excellent.
Because those universities I've talked about
Yes.
are older than 100 years.
True.
And if I look back at the missionary intervention to Kenya, which I have read a lot,
Yes.
that was the vision of the missionary who started the schools,
Yes.
the Presbyterian schools, across the Presbyterian stations.
Yes.
They had that kind of a vision.
Yes.
I know many of them are dead.
Yes.
But those whom they left in their countries and said, we are going to Africa, we
Yes.
have set schools, we have set what?
Yes.
I would want them to know that the missionaries, what the missionaries said
Yes.
is on a pedestal.
Yes. You've
That-
taken it a notch higher.
Yeah, that PUEA is a pedestal. And when I say that, there are so many things that have to be cleaned up.
Yes. You have
Yeah.
to fold your sleeves and get into
Exactly.
the trenches.
Clean the system.
Yeah.
Clean the system. Because for it to stand where I visualize
Yes.
it to be,
Yes.
some things have to be done
Things have
very
to change.
differently.
Things have to change.
Yeah, and a lot
Wow.
of them.
Wow. Now, let me take you back to your academic career.
Okay.
An academic career is a cutthroat. You know, I mean, it doesn't, the word cutthroat doesn't even begin to describe, you know, the academic journey, starting from the bottom as a tutorial fellow, possibly a TF, working your way through the ranks to becoming professor, Grace Ngare, it must not have been an easy journey. Blood, sweat, tears. Yeah. Tell me about that, yeah? And especially how you managed the challenges. Because it was very easy for you. It's very easy for you to have just dropped off at senior lecturer. But you went all the way to associate professor. So what kept you going?
First of all, I actually admit it's not an easy path.
Yeah.
It has never been easy.
Yes.
But what is easy? What is easy in this world? Nothing is easy.
Yes.
Even when you see somebody looking smart like you are, I'm sure you went through a process.
Yes.
Since you woke up.
It took a lot of work.
It took a lot of
Kanana
work.
She's done a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work. Everything that we do takes a lot of work.
Yes.
So indeed, it's not different.
Yes.
It's not that the academia is any different from any other places. The only difference maybe in the academia is the brains.
Yeah.
The brains are at stake. Yes. So, first of all, I had a focus.
Yes.
I knew where I'm going, and I still know where I'm going up to now. It's not over.
Yes.
It's not over until it's over. So you have to cut a niche about yourself.
Yes.
Like I've talked about PUEA.
Yes.
You know, this is where I want to be.
Yes.
And this is how I want it done.
Yes.
So many challenges, sometimes people cut you down,
Yes.
cut you, block you.
Yes.
And I have had several blocks.
I can only imagine, especially as a woman, it gets, and we're not playing the gender card here, but tell me that experience.
There is nothing wrong with playing the gender card, because
Okay.
it's a reality also.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a reality. That sometimes people will just block you because you are a woman.
Yeah.
People want other relationships. I have had such experiences.
Yeah.
When I was working for my PhD,
Yeah.
you won't believe I took 8 years.
Wow.
8 years.
8.
That's the longest period I have ever been in school.
Yeah, that's
Just because I have somebody who is bringing those gender cards, we have to have a relationship, we want to have it was such a tough journey, and I was not so intelligent then that I didn't know what to do. So such issues are there, honestly.
Yes.
Oh yes, the roadblocks, and they are there. There are many. Others are challenges of administration. I have been an administrator in several areas.
Yes.
And then you find somebody thinks you are too ambitious.
They want to cut you down.
They cut you down, getting out. Sometimes you are told to quit a chair position just like that. Even demotions. Yeah, you are there, and then somebody just comes and brings you down and all this. Of course, there are those moments of frustrations, there are moments of regrets, there are moments when but there is only one moment I've never had.
Yes.
I've never thought of quitting. Those are moments I have. What I do actually is get away.
Yes.
And getting away and quitting, sometimes I hide abroad.
Yes.
You go for 3 months.
Yes.
You go for several months,
Yes.
and by the time you come back, you are fresh again and all this. So it is an issue of knowing what you are doing.
Yes.
The other thing I do is to becoming thorough.
Yes.
Somebody told me when I was very young at the university that if you want to survive in the academia, you must be so thorough that nobody will pinch you on your work.
I think that applies in
all over.
Yes.
Yeah. And that to me has been the card I have hidden in my pocket.
Yes.
You cannot get grace.
Yes.
No.
Because especially
you
when
can't.
you're being prepped for this or prepped for these big jobs, these big positions, there are people whose job is now to go through your work with a fine tooth comb so that they can catch you on something you did 15 years ago, 10 years. And we've seen it happen in Harvard with Professor Gay and all that. So I like what you said about...
Let me tell you, my file at Kenyatta University, and I can proudly say, has never had a warning letter. Because I know what the university expects of me. I'm so busy, I'm all over. Have you set your exams on time?
Yes.
Have you marked your exams on time?
Yes.
Have you done this? The administration wants this. Have you done it?
Yes.
That's my priority. It has always been my priority.
Yes.
Have you missed a class? No.
To get the job done.
Get the job done
Please
first.
look at the camera and tell ladies.
Get the job done.
Yes.
That nobody, because you see, when people are looking for you,
Yes.
when the police stop your car,
Yes.
yeah, you know, they always say, where can you fast?
Yeah.
And then they find your side mirror is not working and
Yes.
all.
They want to check your insurance.
Yes.
Your brake lights.
Where's your driving license?
Exactly.
It's here.
Yes.
When you have everything, they get very frustrated.
Exactly.
Because they look for you and they don't find you. So at the job market, make sure, if somebody stops you,
Yes.
everything of you
Yes.
is working.
Yes.
That has been my trick.
Yes.
Even when I'm away, I make sure you cannot pinch me on work.
Yeah.
What are we going to fight for?
Exactly. They can fight on other things.
Those things are free
on
fast.
gender, whatever.
And they will not find you.
Yes.
Even when I said briefly that I had a problem,
Yes.
my thesis
Yes.
did not have a single collection.
Yes.
A single collection.
Or a single paragraph
No,
or page.
no. I was asked by
plagiarized
the chair,
Yes.
oh, Grace, if you feel you want to correct, you can, but we didn't find mistakes in your work.
Do you feel like women, we are held to a higher standard? I was talking to somebody the other day and they said they've had to work really, really hard, like almost twice as hard. Do you feel like we are held to a higher
I think
standard?
so, especially when we are dealing with men,
Yes.
because again, men don't expect women to succeed so much. But I still think I would say this.
Yeah.
If right now you know your car is not very good, don't navigate through mud.
Yes.
But if you have a beautiful, good, strong car,
Yes.
you can move. So if you know you are a woman,
Yes.
there is a likelihood that that gender card may play, and somebody is just looking at you, having so many other diverse interests about you.
Yes.
Don't give them space. Yeah, don't give them room
Don't
for
give
that.
them ammunition to
Exactly,
bring you down.
exactly.
Okay.
Cushion yourself from all that. And I think that with then you are able to stand straight and to start and even to navigate some of the cutbacks or some of the those things, that the roadblocks
Yes,
that they put on you. And I think I have gone through all that, and I have realized this is how to navigate them. Again, avoid direct confrontation, especially with the bosses.
Yes.
I have had several incidences where I felt this one.
Like you want to.
Given a chance, I would cut your throat or take a panga and slash you. But then I realized,
Yes.
God, this is my boss.
Yes.
This is my boss. It doesn't last for long.
Yes.
It doesn't last for
You
long.
will outlast
Oh,
them.
yes. You outlive them. In fact, I always say, that one found me here. They will
And
leave
they
me
will leave you here.
They will and they have done.
Wow.
They have done it.
I like that spirit. Alcoholism, drug abuse, addiction to social media, and young people are facing so many challenges right now. You're in the agriculture sector. You've done so much work around agriculture. Your heart, beats for this country's food security. Talk to young people about the opportunities that are there in agriculture. And also talk to the policy makers, the decision makers, on what needs to be done. You were talking about technology, time, capital, land, and all that. Just in a few words or in a few sentences, tell us about the opportunities for young people and what we need to do as a country.
Thank you so much. I think I would start with what the country needs to do.
Yes.
Is to rethink agriculture. And rethink in the context of the global, where we are the global space.
Yes.
We cannot still do things at that low class level of, talk about production. We need to talk about production systems.
Yes.
And how are we producing our food? How long are we going to rely on foreign donations on food? So we also need to map ourselves, not necessarily put ourselves in that pedestal of Akina Kibuti. You talked about Israel.
Yes. Yes.
The farm is called Kibuti Farm, which
Yes.
feeds the whole of Israel.
Yes.
Maybe we are not going to we are not there, but we can also start.
Yes.
We mechanize our agriculture systems. We put people in offices, people with training,
Yes.
people with passion. We stop benchmarking all over the world, because that's
Yes.
what we are doing.
Yes.
Going to benchmark here, benchmark. And even when we come back, what we are benchmarking sometimes is not even applicable.
Yes.
But I think we can start small. Start thinking about, our land is declining.
Yes.
Our resources are declining. So what can we do with the little that we have? And I believe Africa can feed itself.
Absolutely.
If we go technology-wise. When I come to the young people, well, agriculture is not what it was when we were young.
Yes.
No. Now we have agribusiness, and you
Yes.
don't need to farm,
Yes.
incidentally. You don't need to be the
Tell
farmer.
them.
You don't need to be the farmer. I know some of you, the nails and all this.
Yeah.
You can still do farming
Yes.
at another level. Look
Yes.
at the value chains that we are having.
Yes.
And within that value chain, what is it that you can do? You can be in the middle.
Yes.
Maybe even getting food from the production level, from the
Yes.
farmer,
Yes.
and taking it to the market and adding a little of more
Yes.
value.
Value addition.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what we need, and that's what the young people have,
Yes.
is technology and young minds and innovation. Kenyans are very innovative. If you see what Kenyans are doing on social media, my God, something happens and it's circulated all over the country. Within a minute, we have known who went to parliament with torn shoes.
Yes.
Imagine if that kind of knowledge and technology and information passage was done on more concrete things.
Yes.
Who is producing the best, a new technology of producing pigs or raising pigs, and then it's circulated. Yeah, instead of us spending so much time saying nothing, critiquing the government. Yeah, supposing we change the terrain and we start now saying, no, I have found a new feed for chicken. This is what I am doing, this is what. And these young people take that up. They will be more innovative. And I believe, honestly, and I would also want to invite them to Kenyatta University and come and see our labs.
Yes. Which can you talk about, which lab is that?
We have a living lab.
Yes.
And I will say what's a living lab. This is a lab which does not have chemicals.
Yes.
Actually, we are situated outside, and we are trying a new technology of producing food, new in Africa for that matter.
Yes.
We are borrowing the prototypes from Germany because the program is European Union funded.
Yes.
And our partners are within the European Union countries.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, the leader being in Germany, but so many other. We are 23 member, consortium member from 23 different countries. And what are we doing? We are trying to grow food using what they are calling hydroponics, aquaponics, and all this. This is soilless farming.
Yes.
And the little I've learned about it, because I'm not a scientist, I'm leading the project, but I'm not a scientist, is using whatever little we have. You see these water bottles,
Yes.
the plastic bottles.
Yes.
We can plant a lot of food in them. We can reuse them. Locally available materials that are meant to the dustbin, we convert them in food systems, and we can teach this. We are already coaching young people on this.
Yes.
And this is meant for urban farming.
Yes.
Anybody who has rented a small house, as long as there is even a balcony, there is a veranda outside, you can grow your own vegetables. At least if not for sale, for your own production. And this helps in two ways. One, actually many, it keeps you busy. Yes. You also get healthy food because you're growing it yourself, and also cheap food because you are not buying. Yes. And it keeps you busy. And we are also knowing that we are giving you that technology at a low level. You can, improve it. Yes. Improve it. Yes. There is now even vertical farming. Yes. Anything that is, in fact, when I see any waste, yes, I see food production in it. Yes. Yeah. When I go to a construction site, you see the pipes that bring the sewage down, and there are pieces thrown down. Those can be used to grow food. It is also cost effective because in terms of space, in terms of water, in terms of minerals and all this, is cost effective.
Wow.
And I believe anybody can be engaged in it. Yeah.
Okay. Enough about agriculture and opportunities. My last question. Let's talk a bit about values. We've talked about PUEA being a values-based university and all that. What are these values, the Grace values, Professor Ngare's values that have held her in good stead since your days as that very bright little girl in primary school to now as being the chair of the governing council of the Presbyterian University of East Africa? What are those values that have held you in good stead all these years?
My first one, and maybe the strongest one, is honesty.
Yes.
I'm very honest, actually. Sometimes it gives me a lot of problems.
You're too honest.
I'm too honest
Yes.
and too open, and I speak my mind. I am honest, I speak my mind. Because I don't start seeing things not going the way they should be. And then the value of integrity. And what's integrity in this concept? It is simply, I would define it simply, technically, as being who you are and speaking who you are. And, you know, being honest, authentic.
I like that.
Yeah, be authentic. Remove the masks. You know, a lot of people hide behind a mask. And there is one mask, and I am sorry I have to talk about it in this Christian university. I'm born again. I'm a Christian.
It's
And
not
therefore,
just this
and
environment,
therefore,
yeah,
Christian,
yes,
you know,
yes.
you know, the minute somebody starts saying, oh, you know, I'm a Christian, I'm this, and this, you are putting a veil, and there is nothing wrong with it. Why are you telling us you are a Christian? Why can't we see? Why can't you give us the space to see, indeed this one is a genuine Christian. I am this and this. Those veils, I don't wear them. I don't wear them. Hard work, I think I've spoken about it. It's another value that I uphold. Work hard. Give back. Yeah. Corruption out. Don't steal. I think I told you earlier that if I was made the president of this country, I'll do things differently.
Amongst other things which you'll not say on camera.
Yes.
Yes.
Differently.
Yes.
Differently.
Yes.
And the minute you do things differently, that difference now starts working on you, and others start using it, and you are, you know, you are happy about it. So those are the values that I uphold. Authenticity is my number one. Integrity is my number two. Because without integrity, actually nothing works.
True.
Nothing works. If this building was out of integrity, it would start collapsing.
Yes.
And of all things within integrity is, where is your word when it leaves your mouth? Yeah, people only know you because of not whom you say you are.
Yes.
It's what they see in you.
Yes.
When you tell me to come here today at 8:30 a.m.,
Yes.
let me be here at 8:30 a.m. Because I gave you my word.
Yes.
So I have to honor it. I have to keep it.
Your word is your bond.
My word is me.
Yes.
And that's all. And I won't even add anything to that. My word is me.
Yes.
And if everybody took that, your word is you.
Yes.
You can imagine if we agreed and you even reminded me yesterday.
Yes.
And then you come here, I think now it is about 10:30.
Yes.
And you are still waiting for me.
Yeah, that's not.
And all these people are waiting for me.
Yeah.
And I've not even called you to tell you, look here. Maybe I'm stranded, my car broke down, or the road is blocked, or I'm extremely sick.
Yes.
And this is the Kenya we have, where nobody keeps their word. They don't even honor it. They don't even care. Many people don't. Then, those are the values I uphold.
Wow.
Let's be honest to each other.
Yes.
Yeah. And if I cannot do it, I will always say, this one. Yeah, be authentic.
Be authentic.
And that's final.
And I think that is very important, especially for young women who are looking up to you. Just be yourself. You don't have to pretend
yeah.
to be somebody else.
Whining, they
Yes.
keep on whining.
If you come from Kabete, you come from Kabete. You
Exactly.
don't come from...
No, yes.
Yes.
And whatever people think about Kabete, I'm not Kabete.
Yes.
I only come from there. Some of the things I say about it is not even real.
Exactly.
Might not be real, and it doesn't bother me. Yeah, if you are authentic, you are true to yourself, all those other things are just veils.
Yes.
And how many veils are people wearing?
Wow.
Yeah, how many veils do people want to wear? You know the veil that the hijab that people put here,
Yes.
covering a lot of things
Yes.
behind you. Remove the veil and be yourself. People will like you. People will hate you. Do you care about either?
It's true.
Whether they like you or they hate you.
Wow.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Grace Ngare. It has been a very good interview. And I really like what you talked about, you know, the values of hard work, integrity, authenticity, and just getting to know your journey from that little girl to where you are. You've done very well for yourself, and we're very proud of you. And I know very many young women and men who are looking up to you have learned quite a bit. So viewers, that was the story of Professor Grace Ngare. And I hope you like it. Send us your comments, your views, more questions for her. And we look forward to interacting with you. Thank you so much, and have a good evening. Bye.
Go out into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He who believes and is baptized will be saved.
I think they're orphans.
Where did you find them?
On the streets.
We're sorry, we're just really hungry.
You should call the police.
No police. Not yet.
Is this your house?
Yeah, this is my house.
Can I stay here?